October's here and there's still an awful lot to do. And thanks to the weather, it feels like we've not got a lot of time to do it in. But I'm here to remind you today that things don't have to be rushed in the garden. It will still be here tomorrow. So I'm here at the allotment today. We're going to pop some plants in the ground and we're just going to take it one plant at a time. And that's okay. So I've got some lovely winter leafy greens, cauliflower, broccoli, pak choi and spinach that have been waiting patiently to go in the ground. It may seem like late in the season, but October's still a perfectly fine time to be getting these into the ground. There's still enough daylight and the earth is still nice and warm, so there's a lovely place for them to start spreading their roots to become nice, strong plants.
Now granted, winter veggies are usually seen as boring when compared to the juicy tomatoes and berries we can enjoy in the summer, but they are a staple part of our diet, ensuring we stay well nourished throughout the cold, dark months. One of my very favourite winter veggies is broccoli. It loves the cooler weather and it's full of fibre and antioxidants, which are great for boosting your immune system, something we all need during cold and flu season. You can roast it, steam it, or throw it into a stir fry. It's such a versatile veg that works with pretty much anything. I'm planting the variety Calabrese, which will produce those nice big green heads you often see in the supermarket. I also have some purple sprouting broccoli, which you can find in the shops for a very short period of time in the spring, and it costs an absolute fortune. But with just a little time and patience, I'll be enjoying this in a few months for the price of just a couple of seeds.
So that's 5 baby broccoli plants already in the ground, and that took no time at all. Now, we are planting these quite late in the season, so they will still grow, but they're going to grow very slowly. I'm going to make the most of the space by planting pak choi in between these bigger broccoli plants. They're a much quicker crop, and so they'll come to maturity before the broccoli has a chance to grow up and shade them out.
Pak choi or bok choy is a wonderful addition to your winter garden. It's a fast-growing leafy green that thrives in cooler temperatures, making it perfect for planting in October. It's rich in vitamins A, C, and K, along with calcium and potassium, which are great for keeping your bones strong and immune system healthy. Pak choi is most often used in stir fries, but you can also throw it into soups or even lightly steam it as a side dish. It has a mild, slightly sweet flavour with crunchy stems and tender leaves, which add a lovely texture to any dish. Plus, it's low in calories but packed with fibre, making it a great option for healthy, balanced meals. So next up we have cauliflower, which has been having a bit of a glow up in recent years. It's hardly surprising since it's a fantastic source of vitamin C and so versatile. You can roast it, blend it into soups, or even use it as a low-carb alternative to rice or pizza bases. It's such an underrated veg, but super useful for cozy winter meals. Continuing the interplanting theme, I'm popping some spinach in between the cauliflower plants. This is a giant winter variety, which I haven't grown before, but I assume from the name that it will give me some nice big leaves. And while I seem to be doing a lot today, I'm still really mindful that there's no rush to get it all finished. Sometimes it's just nice to let the garden do its thing. Let's take a quiet moment to enjoy the process together. One of the great things about planting in the autumn is that there is less pest pressure over winter. So we don't need to worry about things like butterflies, white fly and black fly. But what we do need to worry about is pesky pigeons. They're all over this allotment and they'll be hungry over the cold months. The best way to keep pigeons out is to net over your crops. It's really simple and I'm going to show you how. So for each bed, you're going to need some bamboo canes. These are just small 60 centimetre ones. I've got 3 and we're going to cut them in half. Some plumber's piping. I bought this off of Amazon and I'll put the link below. And some netting. This is butterfly and bird-proof netting. I decided to go for the both as I'll continue to use it throughout the year. In terms of equipment, it's pretty simple. We've got a pair of secateurs and some scissors. So I've already cut these canes in half with the secateurs, being careful to mind my fingers, and now they are 30 centimetres long. And you simply just want to pop them in the soil, driving them in just a couple of inches. You want them to be deep enough so that they are quite sturdy, because this is going to be what we put the pipes on, and the pipes are going to support the netting. I've used 6 here, but depending on the size of your bed, you may want to use more. The next step is to add the PVC piping, which will be the frame for the netting. Now, we did not include the cutting of the piping in this footage for a very good reason, but what I will say is use something sharp, watch your fingers, and go very carefully and steadily. Lucky for us, there were no injuries, but we could have done a better job of it. The piping has been cut to just over the width of the beds, and then it's a case of just popping it on top of the canes and pushing it into the soil. The canes will hold the piping up and keep it sturdy. And then it's time to add the netting. I've secured the netting at one end of the bed using some planks, and then I'm just pulling it over the frame, making sure the sides are tucked in and pulling it taut, just like making a bed. There are a few ways to secure the netting to the sides of the bed. You could use a staple gun or tent pegs, but here I'm just securing it down with a long plank that I had spare because I'm likely going to want to get into this bed for weeding. For the second bed, I didn't have any planks left over, so I managed to get my hands on some tent pegs, and it does actually look a lot more neat and tidy. So 2 things to note about this type of netting. Firstly, it's only going to keep the larger airborne creatures out. This is not going to protect your crops from anything that lives in the ground. Slugs and snails will still be able to get up and under the netting. So if you're worried about that, consider other protection methods as well. The other thing to make sure of is that your netting is in good condition. We don't want to see any large holes, and we need to make sure that it's perfectly tight over these frames. We don't want any birds getting in here and getting stuck and hurting themselves. And all that's left to do today is make sure my plants are well watered in, giving them a good start as they settle into the soil for winter. It's been a day well spent. In just one afternoon, I've managed to plant and sow what will grow into fresh, homegrown vegetables over the coming months. The time we put into the garden now really does pay off in so many ways. I know there's always talk of the end of season rush, what we should be doing to prepare. But remember, gardening is meant to be enjoyed. It's not just another task to tick off. Take the advice that feels right, but don't stress about what you haven't done. The garden will wait for you. As the garden starts to wind down for winter, so should the gardener. It's time to pause, reflect, and appreciate the work we've done. In the next few weeks, I'll be back here planting winter garlic, and I'll also be picking up some spring bulbs for a fun little shopping haul. Stay tuned for a tutorial on lasagna planting. It's a great way to bring early colour to your garden. I'll see you then.